in that moment when I was sitting there and talking to these guys who were some of the coolest guys I've ever met, it hit me. It's like you can't judge a place because it's a place.
Right.
Because there's people making it more than that.
Welcome, everybody. This is the Wichita Live Podcast. My name is Landon Huslig, and I am host of the Wichita Live Podcast and curator of the Wichita Live ICT Instagram. Our guest today is Jacob Bolin, but you probably know him as DJ Tightpants. We talk about how he became a radio personality and his journey to being a ninja and competing on American Ninja Warrior. Enjoy my conversation with DJ Tightpants.
All right, I'm ready whenever you are.
All right, let's do it. Yep. All right, I'm here with Jacob. What's going on, Jacob?
Not much, man. Just kind of wrapping up the workday and
yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. I'm here with DJ Tightpants, as some of you might know him. But Jacob, just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Jacob Bolin, but like you said, most people just know me as Tightpants. That's because I'm on the radio. I used to DJ a lot of events, and kind of the Tightpants name when it started kind of took off more than Jacob Bolin did. So
yeah, little catchier, a little more unique.
Yeah, it sticks out a little bit more, so it catches people's attention. So it stuck around.
And what's the story behind that name?
So I started going to Wichita State back in 2009, like right when I graduated high school. Went to Wichita State. I also started working at the radio station iHeart Radio, which is 4 stations. We got B98, 102 on the Bull, Alt 107.3, and Channel 963. When I started, I was just part-time promotions guy, like going to events, like getting vehicles ready. Yeah, like waking up early, staying out on the weekends, working and stuff. But when I started going to Wichita State, at that time I wasn't on air or anything. And I was going to Wichita State, and I was playing in a metal band, and I wore tight pants. But like back in 2009, not a lot of guys were wearing tight pants. It wasn't a common thing. And like tight pants just started as a nickname at the radio station. And then I started DJing. I was in a fraternity, and I started DJing like events and parties and stuff like that. And I just went by the name DJ Tightpants as a joke because it was already a nickname, and it kind of stuck.
Yeah, if it sticks, go with it. Why not?
Because I remember someone at the first event was like, "Oh, you work for Channel 963. What's your DJ name?" And I was like, DJ Tightpants. And when really I wasn't like an on-air personality or anything, I was just this DJ who happened to kind of work for Channel 963 in a different capacity, and it stuck.
Awesome. Believe it into existence, I guess. Yeah. So do you still play in any bands or anything like that? Is that band still around?
No. It was probably 5-6 years ago when we stopped. And then kind of when I started like DJing more events and shows and concerts and stuff like towards the end of the band, and so once the band stopped, I just kind of dove headfirst into DJing. Like,
gotcha.
Fully.
Were you
DJing.
Playing an instrument, guitar or bass or something? Or?
Yeah, I started at guitar, and I eventually switched to bass.
Okay.
Because I'm not like a great guitarist. I can play like rhythm and stuff, and in a metal band, I'm like just playing breakdowns and stuff. But we found another guitarist who could actually shred. So I was like, I'll play bass.
Yeah,
that's easier.
For sure. So how'd you get into DJing? Was that something you always wanted to do growing up? Did you have any experience before college?
No, I mean, I've always been a music guy. Like I just love music and playing music. But I mean, the funny thing is when I started, like when the Tightpants name came around and I started DJing, the first time I DJ'd, like I said, I played in a metal band. That's what I listened to was like screamo music and emo stuff. Like I was just one of those kids, and we needed music at a party for one of my fraternities, and they were like, "Oh, you work for like again, like I got thrown into it. Like you work for Channel 963, you can DJ." I don't know.
Of course,
At the time, I didn't know any of that kind of music, but I was like, I kind of got committed to it. So I literally I spent like a full day like trying to find all this like hip hop and pop music to play for a party. Like this metal kid trying to find all this like pop music and stuff. And I mean, luckily I did work for a radio station, so I could just flip on like the radio and see what was playing, and that's kind of how it started.
I'm sure the fraternity guys would have loved some screamo music there, right?
Played it like
get their party going.
on very few occasions. But I mean, at the party, I was always kind of like a quiet kid too. So I don't know. I just kind of like it kind of gave me something to do, and I wasn't that outgoing. I was never like going out and like talking to people. I was just kind of more reserved and stuff. So it gave me something to do at an event, and people were coming up and talking to me. So like I enjoyed it. So that's
really cool.
After that, I was like, oh, this was kind of fun. And then I bought some DJ software, and then I just kept learning more.
Cool. It's kind of snowballed. That's awesome. Did you major in something related to music then?
I majored in communications, which is funny because, I mean, people always ask, like, oh, did you, like, communications major since I work in radio now? Right. And I did, but my goal was I was doing, like, video and audio production. I wanted to, did a lot of video in, like, high school when I was growing up, like, just making movies. And, like, my family we always went to trips to Colorado snowboarding, and I'd always, like, film it and stuff. And in high school, my friends and I played ping pong all the time. Like, that's just what we did. And I'd always like make videos of just us playing ping pong. And so I really wanted to do video stuff. And so I was studying that at Wichita State. And like I said, I was working at the same time, working in radio. So the same time I was studying at Wichita State, I was getting all this experience in radio. My major kind of goes with it, but it's indirectly went hand in hand. And then by the time I graduated, I just kind of stuck in radio.
Awesome. Can we find those videos? Is there a YouTube channel out there with all your hidden high school, middle school videos?
If you can find them, I mean, I don't have them, but it's kind of funny if you could find them. I'd go back and watch them. This is really embarrassing. We called ourselves the Basement Boys.
Okay.
With a Z.
Of course, it had to be a Z.
Yeah. So we were like a basement ping pong gang. So if you can find the Basement Boys videos, I'll watch them with you.
That's pretty funny. What does a day in the life of a DJ look like? Do you have to get up early? Like, what's it look like for you?
So for me, I get up early because I have a puppy. She likes to wake up at 6 a.m.
I know how that goes. Oh yeah.
But before that, I mean, I wasn't on the best schedule as far as waking up was. I mean, I get to work about 9 a.m. And, the first part of it, I handle a lot of the social media for Alt 107.3 is kind of like my main gig. So I kind of go through our social media, try to plan out, schedule social media posts throughout the day. If we got different contesting stuff, try to figure that out. And then I'm on air from 3 till 7 on Alt 107.3.
Okay.
I'm also on air on channel 963 from 7 to midnight. And I'm actually on a station in St. Louis and a station in Des Moines, Iowa from 7 to midnight.
Wow.
As well. So kind of my day is, while I'm going through social media and doing that stuff, it's all kind of like show prep.
Yeah.
Like I just see what's going on in the world, see what's going on
prepping
around
for
Wichita.
that day's show.
Yeah, prepping. It kind of helps. Sometimes I'll make notes like, oh, this is what I'm going to talk about. Or it's like if I see some artist news, like that's good to talk about later. Because since I'm not on air till later, but it's kind of like just taking in the day and seeing what's going on. So
for sure. Do you get to do, or do you like to still do events on the side, like DJing outside of the radio, or?
No, not anymore. And when I DJ'd, I always refused to DJ weddings. Like I was never a wedding DJ. It's like too much. I don't know. I just like
pressure.
Yeah, I just like to go do my thing, and I'm not an MC. I didn't like to talk on the mic either, which is weird. Like
you kind of have to help run the show.
Yeah,
if you're
it's weird because like I'm a radio DJ, but I'd rather just like kick back and play the music,
relax. Yeah.
So I don't do. I used to do a bunch of there's a lot of like EDM shows. Nocturnal by Nature hosts all these EDM shows, and I used to DJ a lot of those, and those were really fun.
Very cool.
And I DJ'd in Old Town. I used to DJ 3 nights a week down there, and I did that for a few years, and then I was like, this is a lot. So I cut back, and then eventually just called it quits on DJing. But,
are you involved much with the like local music scene? Do you interact with any of the local artists?
Yeah, as far as alternative,
here,
I do a lot with that. Well, real quick, what prompted me quitting DJing? I moved to St. Louis for a year and a half. I moved there May of 2016. I was working in Wichita. I started doing like full time when I finally bumped up from part time. Full time, and I did nights on Channel 963, 7 to midnight, and I did that for a couple years, and then I got called from St. Louis, our radio stations in St. Louis, because iHeart, we have stations all over the country. So, and the guy in St. Louis was like, hey, we like what you're doing. We want you to come do it in St. Louis. So I was like, it's awesome. Great. Like I grew up in the Wichita area. So and I kind of like had that feeling like I always wanted to get out. That's what I was trying to do with the band,
sure.
like get out and make it. And that was cool to just like get a call and be like, hey, we want you to come work in St. Louis. So I was there a year and a half, which wasn't as long as I thought I would be there. Mm-hmm. And I was doing nights on there, like Top 40 station, which is very similar to Channel 963, like pop music. But alternative music has always been what I listen to more. Like I said, it was played in the metal band and stuff. Like, so I like alternative music a lot better. And when I did nights on Channel 963, I also did afternoons on Alt 107.3 like I do now. And moving out in St. Louis, I was still doing Alt in the afternoons. I just like recorded my show from St. Louis. And I remember some people, like when I moved back, people were like, I didn't even know you were gone. It's like, because I still did my show just from St. Louis. But so I was there a year and a half, and then I had the opportunity to come back to Wichita and be a more present afternoon host on Alt 107.3. And I'm now the assistant program director and music director for Alt 107.3. So it kind of gave me an opportunity to come back and play a bigger role with the station and the music that I really have a passion for.
Very cool.
And one of my main goals was to really get connected and involved with the local music scene. Because there's a ton of great bands in Wichita. And I mean, I used to be there playing in a band trying to make it. And like, I wish there was a guy like out there like supporting and pushing. So that's what I've been trying to do with the local bands. And it took me a while to get a lot going. But I just, in October, I just launched a local music show on Alt 107.3.
Oh, cool.
So it's Sunday nights at 10, and it's called Native Noise, which shout out to my wife who came up with that title.
That's good.
It's like, I couldn't think of anything that wasn't like copying someone else, and she came up with that.
That's really good.
So Native Noise, and I just feature an hour of like local and regional bands.
Awesome. I'll have to link to that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then I actually post, so that airs on Alt 107.3 Sunday nights. I also post it as like a podcast. Okay. That can be found on iHeart Radio, and it's usually up Monday. And like I just posted a new one today from Sunday night's episode. So you can listen to it on demand too.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely link that up. That's cool.
Sunday nights are like, it's late Sunday night. Most people are home. But the cool thing, I mean, you can listen to us on iHeart Radio on the computer.
Anytime,
and then so I wanted to make that available for people to be able to go back and listen to it again too.
Awesome. That's really cool. Do you have any advice for somebody that's trying to break into the radio as a career, or even like internships or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, internships is like the way, like if you can just get your foot in the door, and I think this is kind of the same for anything you want to do. Like if you can get your foot, if you have an opportunity to get any kind of step in, whether it's internship, part-time, like do it. You gotta jump in where you can, and don't be like, oh, this isn't my dream job, but it could be. It could turn into it. I mean, I kind of have a funny story how I got into radio. When I started working at the station, I didn't really want to work in radio. Like I said, I had other plans when I was in college. My dad used to work in radio. Well, he still does. He owns his own radio stations now, but he used to be on B98 a long time ago. And so I started working part-time just as like a college gig. And that was kind of like, it was just a part-time job to just have a job while I was going to school. But I mean, while I was here, my goal was to learn as much as I could. My goal wasn't to be on air, actually. So like I said, I was quieter, more reserved. It's like I didn't feel like I had the personality for an on-air person. And then with the DJing and everything, like I was doing DJing on the side, and then they're like, hey, we want you to be a mix show DJ. So make mixes that air on the radio every weekend. And that's where like they put me on like before you heard me talking on the radio, you might have heard my mix show. Okay. Where it's like, hey, you're in the mix with DJ Tightpants. Yeah, definitely. Like, so I did that for a while, and then they're like, we want you to be on the weekend, like actually talking. And I was like, no. I was like, I don't really want to do that. And they kind of made me do it. Yeah. And
break out of the show a little bit.
They're like, hey, you're going to be Tightpants because the mix show and everything. And then from there, like, I mean, I was doing a 3-hour show like every Sunday afternoon, like nothing crazy. And then from there, like after that, I got the opportunity to take over nights on Channel 963 once I was kind of figured out what I was doing a little more. And then, like I said, St. Louis happened. So granted, I didn't plan any of this. I mean, it turned into a career, and now I like it. Like I say, I didn't plan on getting into radio. I didn't want to do it, but now it's something I enjoy.
That's awesome.
And it started because I got this part-time job where I was working like 10 hours a week. But
that's pretty cool. That's awesome. All right, so I'm going to mix it up a little bit. So some people might know you for your DJ side of life, and some people might know you as the DJ Tightpants Ninja. And so Ninja Warrior, how did you get into that? What kind of started that?
I mean, like a lot of kids, I think, I watched the original like Japanese show.
Oh, yeah, I definitely did that.
Yeah, that was on G4, like in high school. Like, you don't know what they're saying. You just know these guys are doing crazy stuff, and they're like, wow, that looks so cool. Like, it's just a playground for adults, which is what it is.
Right.
And that's awesome. I actually got started, like legitimately started when I moved to St. Louis.
Okay.
I knew one person when I moved to St. Louis. I actually moved in, my old drummer in my band lives in St. Louis now. So I moved in with him, but besides that, I didn't know a lot of people. And I was sitting at home on the weekends just watching Ninja Warrior because I was like, had nothing else to do. And I saw two people from St. Louis on the show. I was like, whoa, there's a gym here. And I guess I never thought about even trying to get into that in Wichita because it just didn't seem like we had an opportunity for it. And then once I realized like, oh, there's a gym that I can drive to, I just started going. And I mean, the first time I went, I couldn't do like a pull up the first time I went. And it was like, I was the most sore I've ever been in my life. Like the next day after going to the Ninja Gym the first time.
I believe it, yeah.
I was like, I didn't even know like this part of my body could hurt, but it hurts a lot. And like I could barely move my arms. And but from there, like I was hooked. I don't know. I found out there was a gym, so I started going, and it was awesome. I played sports in high school, and I kind of just stopped in college, and it kind of gave me a way to get back into the gym. I don't like going to the gym to like run on a treadmill or lift weights, and so that was kind of a way to get fit again, and it made it fun.
Sure. And I just want to get into that a little bit. I've heard you on another podcast and read some other interviews. And so can you talk about the heart surgeries a little bit? I think that's a big part of your story, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's why in college I just kind of stopped. After college, I stopped playing sports. I've actually had 4 open heart surgeries. And it started like when I was a child. My first one I was 18 months old. And I was born with a hole in my heart is like the common term for it. It's called a ventricular septal defect. Okay. But it's just a hole in your heart, which it's kind of common. Like it happens.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. It's pretty common, or not as far as like heart issues go.
Right.
In like infants, it's one of the more common things. And it's like, I want to say it's like a simple fix, which it is in the sense of like an open heart surgery.
Right.
Like I had
as simple as I can get.
Like usually, like I had an open heart surgery to get it fixed, and usually that's how you do it. But it's simple as in like that should be the only issue. Like after that, you're good. Like I've met other people who've had that, like a hole in their heart and had a heart surgery, and they've been like fine the rest of their lives. Turns out though, when I was 6, my one of my valves just like completely shut down and like disintegrated.
All right.
And which was a completely separate problem than the hole in my heart.
Oh, really?
Okay. I think it might have got infected, or like I had some issue after the surgery that they just didn't pick up. But yeah, so at about 6.5 years old, I had to have another heart surgery to get my valve replaced. And then because it was a replacement valve, I clearly it was. I think the first one was a pig valve, and then obviously it's not going to last as long as like my normal human valve. So. They knew I'd have to get it replaced again, or they always said like 10 to 15 years. But by the time I was 13, like I had to get a new one. So I had another heart surgery when I was 13, and then eventually another one when I was 18.
Wow.
And I mean, part of it was because I was growing.
Sure.
Like I was always growing, and I was really active because I played soccer all my life, like year round. Me and my brothers all played soccer pretty competitively. So I kind of like just burned through them. And yeah, so eventually because of that, like I was still able to play soccer growing up. I just took a season off and then got back on the field like a little bit later. But I also I could never do serious like weightlifting, because it would put too much like pressure on my chest. Or like football, like really high contact sports, like I couldn't do football and stuff like that. But yeah, I was always good for soccer, except my cardio. My cardio could hold up. But yeah, when I was 18, I had my 4th heart surgery. It was like right after I graduated high school. And at that point, my doctor was like, or my cardiologist was pretty much like, you probably shouldn't play competitive sports anymore. So I actually had to quit my senior year of high school. I wasn't able to play.
Right.
Which was kind of a bummer. And my older brother played soccer in college.
Right.
My younger brother, who, well, if he's hearing this, he should have been playing soccer in college. He decided not to, but he was better than me and my older brother, so he could easily be. So it was that was the original plan.
Sure.
Was I wanted to play soccer, so that was kind of a bummer, like not being able to. And then I played collegiate. Or
Yeah. Intramurals?
Intramural.
Yeah.
I played intramurals in college, but I couldn't really I could run for a little bit, but like my cardio just wasn't there.
And you can make that as serious as you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right. You could just be screwing
exactly.
around with your buddies, and that's intramurals. So.
Yeah.
Or it could be competitive. Either way.
Yeah.
So.
But that's the thing with Ninja too, and why I had to stop playing competitive sports, but I can run a Ninja Warrior course is in high school, like being on a competitive team, there's a coach pushing you to your limits.
Right.
Which my doctor's like, you have to gauge your limits. Like you can't have someone else determining that. So, but in Ninja, like on the course, like I can run and I can take it at my own pace.
Sure.
Which is a lot different. Like if I'm on the course and my heart's like going crazy and I'm like, oh no, this is bad. Like I can literally just stop right there and wait.
Take a deep breath. Yeah. Relax a little bit.
But that's kind of how I got back into fitness and Ninja, because
that's cool.
I had to stop for a particular reason, and this gave me a way to get back into fitness and make it fun.
Yeah, that's a cool fitness outlet. Is that something you're going to have to worry about moving forward? Are you going to have any more like on the 10 or 15 year horizon?
Possibly. The hope is that by the time I need another one, they'll have like stem cell research and all that figured out. I know they're already doing
That's a good point.
Some valve replacements with just like a cath procedure, which is not an open heart surgery. Not the valve that I would need replaced, but I'm coming up on 9 years. I think 9 years. What years? My last one was 20. I'm coming up on almost 10 years since my last heart surgery, which is the longest I've been. Like it's always been 6 to 7 years.
Yeah.
Part of it's because I'm full grown now. I'm not outgrowing my valve physically, but I mean that's a good sign. When I remember when I hit that like 7 year mark, I was like, one, I was really scared for my next appointment with my cardiologist. Because I was like, okay, it's about time they're gonna say some bad stuff is going on, and I need another heart surgery. And then I hit 8 years, and I remember the anniversary of my last heart surgery. When it was 8 years, I had a Ninja competition that day. I was like, this is one of the coolest things ever. And then
that is pretty awesome.
Yeah. So for now, I'm good.
That's cool.
I don't have any signs of.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that technology is that far away. I mean, it's 28. The stuff they're doing is pretty crazy nowadays. So give it a couple more years. And
well, back in 2009, that was the hope too. Before I had my fourth surgery, I had a procedure to try to a minor procedure to try to hold it off for a few more years, because my doctor was like, they might have this figured out soon. So if we can hold it off, that thing didn't work. I ended up having another surgery, but so
cool, awesome. So you're in St. Louis, started doing Ninja Warrior again. So talk about the process of submitting the video, or how do you get onto the show, and were you actually on the show? I know you competed kind of in the process, but how did that all work out?
Yeah, so since I was going to a gym regularly, and everyone at the gym, that was like the first thing I did in St. Louis. So those guys really became like my really good friends in St. Louis. It was good. Like they all had tried to been on the show before. There was a couple people at the gym who had been on the show, so they're the ones who were like, "Oh, you should try to be on the show." Like, especially like I know the heart thing. Like I know the kind of stories they like on the show too.
There's definitely a particular they like the story aspect of it.
And I know I got for Ninja Warrior. I know I have a good story for it.
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Oh, you're gonna get on first try," because we've been trying for years. So I kind of knew I had a good story to tell, and I don't mean that I don't want that to sound like.
No, it's true though. It really is true. Yeah.
So and I know I can use that to inspire people, and that's what I want to do. But I kind of had help there. They told me what to do the process, because before I wouldn't have known the process. Yeah. But it's really simple actually. There's a website called anwcasting.com. You go there, and that's where you start your application. There's kind of it's a really long online fill in the blank application. It's 9 pages. almost. And some of it's background information, like friends and family, like what you do, or like what's your athletic background.
Yeah.
But they also ask like the tough questions, like what's the hardest thing you've ever been through?
Sure.
What's the like your biggest athletic achievement? I felt like all of my answers were like refer back to heart surgery because that like, fit everything. And then because that was all athletics and life, like that was just a big part of everything. Yeah. And so that takes a while to fill out because you kind of get in depth with your story, but they just want to figure out like who you are, what's your story, and why you could be on the show. And then so as far as you do the online application, then you have to submit a video application too. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'll tell anyone if anyone wants to try out, like what they're looking for is your personality. Like they want to see that you have a personality because it is a TV show. So they got to see
it's entertaining. They're trying to sell something. Yeah,
you got to be good on TV. So you have to make a video that's no more than 3 minutes showing like that you're physically able. You can do the obstacles, show off your personality, and tell your story. And so
sure. Yep. Cool. So have you just competed one time or multiple times?
Yeah, I competed one time last season. It was season 10.
Okay.
Which the application I just actually submitted my video for season 11.
Oh, perfect.
Because the application process they open casting from November. It's about November to January 2nd is when they close it. So you have to get your video in by then. And they're about to release the dates for season 11. It should be coming out in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. But then filming won't be till like March through May. I ran the course May 25th last year, I think.
Awesome.
So yeah, I've only done the one season. I applied and I got on. It was crazy. Like I didn't think I was going to get on after they started going because one city was Dallas because it's 6 different cities every year and they put people in different regions.
Yeah.
And one city was Dallas, which is like a 5-hour drive from here.
Pretty perfect for Wichita.
I thought I was going to be in Dallas, and then they always call people about a month out, so you kind of know.
So you can start planning travel and
which I wish it was more because like
right. Oh yeah, that's still pretty short notice.
But because like everyone's posting on Instagram, it's like I got the call. So you're like when you see the first video, you're like oh no, they're calling people, and you're just like which makes it so bad because like okay, in the next 2 days like I could get a phone call, which was like terrifying. But I thought it would be Dallas if it was anything because the other cities were Los Angeles, Dallas, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, and like Florida. Or Miami or something like that. So I was thinking Dallas, which I didn't get a call for Dallas. Then I was thinking maybe Indianapolis because some of my friends from St. Louis got called for Indianapolis. And I was like, maybe because I have that tie in there. And I don't know why I didn't think Minneapolis because it's only like a 9-hour drive.
Yeah, it seems farther, but it's only 9 hours.
And then Minneapolis was actually the last filming date. So it was the very last to get called.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
But by that time I was like, I kind of like stopped training and I wasn't doing much. So I was like, I'll just try again next year. Cool. And then I think it was May 3rd, I got a call.
Oh man.
And I like flipped out. Like I started like, I was like already nervous. Like after I got off the phone, I was like sweating. I was here at the station. I still had a lot more work to do. And I was like, I don't know how I can finish my day. Like I was like,
that'd be,
freaking out. And it was like I said, May 3rd, I ran the course May 25th and I had like slowed down training. So it's like, I'm not ready. Oh no.
Man, that'd be stressful. So how'd that go? Are those clips online? Can people find your run?
I posted some photos. So I know you asked if I was shown. They have 100 people run the course in each city, and they show about like 20 people on TV.
Right.
And I went out on the third obstacle.
Gotcha.
And it was like I was right in the middle. So the majority of people went out on the third obstacle. So I felt really good about that, but it like put me right in the middle of the pack. And so they didn't show my run on TV.
I gotcha.
But like, I mean, like I said, I felt good about that. And I do have a video that I kind of like. They have a monitor like filming, so someone like filmed my run, the monitor.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm technically allowed to.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I was just curious if it's on YouTube or their website or anything like that. That's cool. What was the third obstacle that year?
It was the ring hopper. It was like
okay. I think I know what that one is. I haven't watched it in a little bit, but
Yeah, it's a bar that goes diagonal up, and it's got little like pegs on it. It's kind of like this. A lot of people know what the salmon ladder is. It's kind of like that, but horizontal, and then you have to hop this heavy bar over it.
Sure.
And I mean, the goal on that is like to skip as many rungs as you can. It's like, okay, skip 4 of them, then I got one more hop to the top, and I'm good. Like that's the game plan. Yeah. That's like what the good people do. I get up there and I skipped like 2 rungs.
Game plan's out the window.
I looked up and I was like, oh no. And I was like, and at that point I was like, it kind of hit me. I was like, crap, I'm tired. And
right.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how hard some of that stuff is. A few years ago, me and my brothers built a salmon ladder out of wood in our backyard at my parents' house in Andover just for fun to see if we could do it. And we could do it, but it was unbelievably difficult. And then over at like the Forum, I've tried their little course over there, and my grip strength is nothing, so I can't even make it across there. It's like one swing and I'm down. So yeah, I don't think people realize how hard some of that stuff is.
I mean, it takes like grip strength. It takes a long time to like build that up.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like I think back or watch videos from when I first started training, like compared to now, it's like it's so crazy. Like the stuff I couldn't do.
Right.
It's like I said, I couldn't do a pull up at all. It's like from like I remember thinking one day like because if my arms were bent a little bit, like I could do that, but like a full extended
all the way
pull-up.
down.
I remember trying once. Like I bought a pull up bar. That's my advice if you want to get into ninja or anything. Like get a pull up bar and then just hang on it. Someone told me at the gym, it's like, how long can you just hang there, like with the arms extended? I could do like maybe like almost 10 seconds, which is not that much. But like I did that as many times as I could.
Right.
And then eventually you can hang longer. Then that builds up all your forearm strength and you can start doing pull-ups. But like,
gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. I remember thinking, I was like, maybe it's physically impossible to bend your arms when they're like completely straight. I thought that for a little bit because I couldn't do a pull-up. I was like, accepted the fact that it was physically impossible. I was just that weak.
Do you do any cross training, or do a lot of people do cross training with like rock climbing? I know a lot of the top ninjas like are rock climbers, but do you do any of that?
I rock climb a little bit, like here and there. I try to go to Bliss when I can. Right when I moved back, that was kind of the first thing. So when I moved back to Wichita from St. Louis, I moved back last November.
Okay.
I went. I know we don't have a ninja gym here, so I got a membership and started going to Bliss because my work schedule. I haven't really been able to make it that much. So if I can, I can't say I'm a rock climber because I don't.
Sure,
do that.
That's fine. I was just curious if you do it at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I rock climb. I try to rock climb, and then I have some stuff at home that I train a lot on.
Sure. So is there anywhere in town besides? So I know this Forum has a little bit of stuff. Kinetic Impulse has their Kinetic Impulse Parkour, if you haven't heard of that. They have kind of a setup, but it's not like strictly ninja setup, but like parkour setup. Are those the type of places you train at, or just at home, or?
So, those two places, just punch the mic. Those two places that you mentioned, I've kind of been working with them. Moving back, I got really into Ninja Warrior, like in St. Louis. Like that was all I worked, and then I went to the ninja gym, and that was pretty much it. So it kind of consumed my life as far as, it was something I was finally interested in. I had quit DJing and music. I wasn't doing music anymore. So this was something like that I was really into. I got really into it. So moving back, that was one of the hardest things. It was really like positive and negative coming back to Wichita because I had a good opportunity to come back. It was cool coming home with my family and really close friends and everything. The biggest thing is like I put so much of my life into Ninja Warrior. It's taken over my life so much that I was now leaving the ninja gym, something I really loved, and all these people that I met. And so coming back to Wichita, one of my biggest goals has been to like get Ninja Warrior going.
Cool.
In Wichita, because we don't have a gym, and we have like rock climbing is great training for it, but it's completely different. And I think right when I moved back, I found out about KIP, Kinetic Impulse Parkour, like after I moved back, and I was like, how did I not know about this when I was here?
Right.
And so I reached out to them and asked them if they had any ninja stuff, because parkour and ninja, it can go together. They're completely different things. Like I'm not good at parkour at all. I like going there, but I cannot run and flip and jump. Like I can hang on stuff, and that's about it. Like I'm good at hanging and now doing pull-ups, but they're cohesive. They do go together.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff crosses over. And so I remember reaching out and asking them if they had ninja stuff or they were going to like add any ninja stuff. And then I also like got in touch with the Wichita Sports Forum because they had they have their little obstacle course there.
Yep.
The Sports Forum, when I contacted their guy, they had a new general manager, and he was like I kind of reached out. I waited till like after I ran Ninja Warrior to kind of like, it was really hard being patient because like right when I moved back, I was like, I want to do all this stuff, but I was like, I should probably wait because at the time I just applied for Ninja Warrior. Sure. Like I should wait and see how this goes, and because that can help me a lot. Like
a little more credibility. Yeah, for sure.
Then I was lucky enough to do it, to get on, and so I kind of tried to see what I could do to get stuff going. And the Wichita Sports Forum, they let me like redesign their obstacle course.
Oh, awesome.
So
That's
they
cool.
had kind of the same setup for probably since they opened, and the guy let me get in there. Me and I have a buddy named Alex Rude who goes to Wichita State now, and he does a bunch of like OCR, kind of the Spartan races and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
And so him and I have been working together. We redesigned the whole obstacle course at Wichita Sports Forum to try to make it a little more just flow better and just be a better course overall. And they also let us start like hosting some ninja events. So we've done a few events there. We just did one this last Saturday, the 5th of January, and where they kind of let us like shut off the course. Mm-hmm. It was still open to the public, but people like came in and like we built some obstacles, so we had those set up, and people came in and we had them like run through a course, and we timed them and
That's cool.
did some like training and coaching, and we've actually been talking with Kinetic Impulse Parkour about doing some stuff with them too. We started a Facebook group called Ninja Warrior ICT.
Okay.
And so
I'll definitely link that too.
I mean, our goal with that is to, if anyone's right now, like there's such a big community with Ninja Warrior, and like you go to these events, you meet ninjas, and everyone's so supportive. Like that's the coolest thing is like the goal in Ninja Warrior isn't like to compete against the other person. It's to compete against the course. It's you versus the course. So like everyone has this one goal to take down the course. So it's like this big community aspect where we're all have the same goal.
Right. Everyone's rooting for each other.
Yeah, it's just a big community thing, and that's what we're trying to build is the community. That's where we need to start is like find the people who are interested in Ninja Warrior. Let's do some events. Let's get together. Let's go to parks and set up the obstacles that we built and like
it's really
do
cool.
what we can to kickstart it. So that's what we're trying to do. So we have that Facebook group. Him and I are hosting events, building obstacles, trying to build some backyard obstacles, and really get it going. We started an Instagram too. It's like nothing super official yet because it's just him and I, but it's Air Cap Ninjas.
Okay.
I mean, maybe we'll change the name if things become more legit or official, or I don't know. Maybe that's pretty.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a good thing to roll with. I came up with that idea. I was like, that's cool. So like we just started. We have some. I mean, we've been posting stuff because we posted a video of us. We went to Kip the other night, and
I think I saw that one.
Yeah, it's like our goal is like we're gonna get out. We're out and doing ninja things, so let's put it out there and try to catch the attention of other people who might be interested.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure there's at least a few people for sure. Do you think somebody's going to start like a ninja gym sometime, or do you think it's gonna be kind of at a sports forum or a Kip? Do you think that's in the process, or
if there's someone out there who wants to start a ninja gym, please contact me because I will help as much as I can. That's kind of been my goal.
Yeah.
And is to get a gym of some sort going, and like there's a few different avenues kind of that I've been pursuing. Whether it's can we expand at the Wichita Sports Forum? Like, do they want to add more? Like I said, they let us redesign, but it's like, can we add more, or just like I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. Is there anyone else or anybody in Wichita who's competed besides you on the show?
Yeah, there's a guy named Brian Doom.
Okay.
Who he also goes by Major Doom. He's in the Air Force. He's a major in the
very cool.
Air Force, and he's competed the last 3 seasons.
Oh wow!
I think I remember seeing him. I think when I was in St. Louis watching, I remember seeing him compete. And I think I was like, oh man, that would have been cool if I knew him in Wichita.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then Cassie Craig.
Okay, I think I've heard of her.
Yeah, she she went to her and I went to Wichita State. I don't know if she knows this, if she randomly listens to this, but I think we had a couple classes together at Wichita State. I think she did communications also. Okay. And I think at the time I obviously wasn't doing ninja stuff, and then I think she started doing some stuff later. But I remember how I found out she did stuff. Before I even saw her on the show, I think I saw she was friends with someone I went at the gym in St. Louis, and then later I found out. So it's I was already in St. Louis when I found out she was doing stuff, and I was like, oh, that would have been cool too.
That would have been cool, yeah.
But
cool. So do you think the ninja stuff, I mean, I think I know the answer what you're going to say, but do you think this is a fad or anything? I know it's been going on for, what you said, 11th season coming up, but do you think it's going to stick around, or do you think something else is going to replace it? Because I know The Rock just came out with his new TV show, The Titan Games or whatever. So do you think it's going to kind of build on itself, or something else going to replace it, or do you think it's here to stay for a while?
I think it's here to stay because outside of the show, the sport has grown tremendously. It's insane, and it's really popular with kids. Yeah. The gym I went to in St. Louis, the clientele, the main clientele was kids.
That's awesome.
Kids are coming out and doing coming to the ninja gyms because they see the show and they're they think it's so cool. I mean, I think it's cool, but they're it's another level for them. Right. And it's huge with kids. And just as far as the sport outside the TV show, there's a few different leagues, there's one called the National Ninja League, and they host competitions at different gyms all across the country. Every single weekend, there's multiple competitions. That's really cool. And because you can compete, they have them all across the country. You can compete, and then the top 3 will qualify for the finals event at the end of the year. Okay. There's another league called UNAA. It's United. I remember what it stands for anyway. Exactly.
I'll look it up. I'll link it.
Yeah, UNAA, but they have qualifying events, and they have their own finals at the end of the year too. And then there's a ton of just random competitions too, whether it's through the leagues or just gyms do their own competition. There's stuff all the time. And there's if you watch the show, you might know some of the Wolfpack ninjas. Yep. Mm-hmm. They're all these guys from Colorado, and they do a podcast, and they're just kind of a community that they've built. They started doing Wolfpack Ninja tours. It's kind of their own.
That's cool.
It's kind of a league, but they do these big events where they'll it's head-to-head competition with the ninjas. Nice. They have they have different divisions pros, amateur, they have kids compete and everything.
That's really cool.
And it's this big sporting event, and the prizes for that are $10,000.
Oh wow.
Or there's one guy specifically, Adam Rail, if you've watched the show, who's
the name sounds super familiar.
He's so fast, and with all these, there's a ton of speed competitions. Yeah. Most of the tournaments and competitions are speed, and he's won. I know he's won 2 of the Wolfpack Ninja competitions. Yeah. And so he's made $30,000 just from Ninja.
That's crazy.
And this is the first couple years for these events building. So I think
that's pretty cool,
especially with the kids competing, because all the kids can compete in the National Ninja League stuff too. They have different age divisions. Really cool. And when you have the youth, who I just heard on the Armchair Ninja podcast we were talking about earlier, they had the National Ninja League guy on talking, and he mentioned how when it started it was mainly just adults, but now the youth league has pretty much overtaken the adults.
Right, which is how I guess it's going to be big in the future, right? Yeah. If there's more kids that are doing it, then...
Yeah, and they just kicked off the American Ninja Warrior Junior show too, which is airing now.
It's on that. Cool.
It's on Universal Kids.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so with that, just outside the show, very few people get a run on the show. Right. 600 people a year out of a ton of hundreds of thousands of people who apply, but stuff like the National Ninja League lets anyone, because it's not a TV. They're not recruiting for a TV show. Anyone can come out and compete. So it gives everyone the chance to compete, do ninja year round. So
right. Is that Adam? Is he the guy that won? Because I remember I was watching I was really into it a couple years ago when Jeff Britton was the first one to make it up, but then the other guy beat him. That was just barely.
That was Isaac Caldero.
Isaac, okay.
Yeah.
Is he part of the Wolfpack or no?
He was.
Okay, that's what I thought, but.
There apparently after he won, there was some bad blood.
Okay, I think I heard about that too.
Drama,
right?
Which they get into in a few different podcasts. There's actually, if you're a podcast person, I love really podcasts. Listen to Ninja Warrior. I think not Universal. NBC put out their own Ninja podcast that they did. They did episodes after every, like, they just launched it this last season with season 10. They did podcast episodes after each episode aired. And they talked to Isaac Caldiero, and he kind of talked about that a little bit.
Oh, I'll have to look that up. That'll be interesting. That's cool. Okay, and before I forget, I want to talk a little bit more about you competing. Like, what does the day of competing look like? Because I know sometimes it'll go to like 3 or 4 in the morning or something. Can you talk about that?
So I ran May 25th was the run date, which was Friday. Technically, I didn't run until May 26th though, because they film everything at night.
Yeah.
And they started filming at like 9 o'clock. It might have been 9:30, I think, because
is that just for lighting purposes?
Yeah, because when everything's
right.
Yeah, they used to shoot during the day, like back in season 2, but then they are up to season 4 maybe. Yeah, it just looks better at night. Yeah, which is unfortunate for the athletes because it's a lot harder to compete in the middle of the night. So that was Friday. Thursday I had to be there Thursday for interviews and like B-roll shots. And so my wife and I left. We left Wichita Wednesday morning at like 6 a.m. I also so this is a random side story, which I put this in my application video for this year. So last year, I mean, with all my heart stuff, last year I almost wasn't able to compete in Ninja Warrior because after filling out a medical questionnaire, I was told I couldn't compete because like I've obviously been limited in sports and stuff.
Right.
And so I had to get like medical clearance from my cardiologist before I could run. And this was the Friday before I was supposed to run the course. So I was like freaking out. But after a couple like frantic phone calls to my cardiologist, they moved some other patients around and got me in on Wednesday, which was the day I was driving to Minneapolis. So like Wednesday morning, got up super early, stopped in Kansas City on the way to Minneapolis, got my letter clearing me, and then we continued to Ninja Warrior.
That's pretty clutch by the doctor to move some people around.
Like, sorry, like Jim and Taylor and everyone else who needs their heart checked
seriously.
out. We got a ninja emergency.
Oh man, that's funny.
But okay, I'm sorry because that was I forget your question before.
Just how was the process of like late night, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So I mean, we left Wednesday morning 6 a.m. So, and then we got there like in the evening, like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And the first thing I had to do was Thursday morning at 9 a.m. I had scheduled for like my interview with them and B-roll because they film all that. Because even, like I said, I wasn't shown, but they still film everything. Because at the time, they don't know who they're going to show. Sure. It depends on how you do. So filming was Friday night. And I was hoping like it's Friday all night. They started at 9:30. So hopefully like Friday you can like, you want to sleep during the day so you can be awake at night. But since I had to leave 6 a.m. Wednesday morning, drive all day, be up at 9 a.m. for filming and all that. Like I tried to stay up as late as I could Thursday night so I could sleep as long as I could Friday, but I couldn't like sleep at all. And then Friday I tried to take a nap, but I was like so anxious and nervous that like I couldn't take a nap. Like I couldn't sleep at all. So
now you're sleep deprived. And I show up. So they do like 2 different like sessions kind of like the first people had to show up like at 9, I think, or no, the first people had to show up at 5 p.m. And that were the people who were going to start running the course at 9. Okay.
And then I was in the later group where they said they were going to start running at 12, but at 12 midnight, and I had to show up at 11 p.m. But I got there a little early because it's going to be better to get there and start watching some people. But I ended up not running the course till 3:15 in the morning.
That's crazy, dude.
And which like being there on set, like we can see like who's running the course. So that kind of helped because it's like you just get some nerves out because like you see people doing it. So it's like, okay, that kind of get some ideas and you see how the course is. And because leading up to it, you can't touch the course at all. Like you can see it. They have people testing the course throughout the day. Throughout some of the days because they're adjusting the obstacles and making sure everything's right. So they have testers, so we can watch that from a distance, but like we can't touch anything until it's like you get one shot. It's like your first time touching these obstacles is when you're running the course.
That's rough.
So it's way better to like watch some people, even if you don't want to use the same strategy or technique because everyone's different. Yeah, you want to use like what works for you, but
it's for me, it helped being able to see some people. But yeah, it was like standing around until.
Do they let the established like ninja celebrities, do they go earlier in the night? Do they kind of get preference if they've been on the show a few times and they know they're going to do well? Or?
Timing wise, not really.
Really?
I kind of. It seemed like preference-wise, it kind of seemed. I noticed a lot of people who had kids got to run earlier.
That's nice.
And my wife and I were like, well, we have a puppy because like a lot of them are like
our kids back home.
like their kids are like there, so they can't stay out too late, or like they're Skyping their family back home. Like I'll talk to a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm Skyping my family and kids back home, and it's like, dang it, because they were like, yeah, I'm running early, and
wow,
it seemed like those kind of people got preference to run earlier.
You know now.
Yeah, I know now. But I don't think my wife and I are not going to have a kid in that time. We might have to try to swing the puppy thing, but yeah, I kind of ran around, right? Some like really good people.
Yeah. Were there any big name people at that Minneapolis one?
Joe Moravsky.
Oh yeah.
Who?
That's the weatherman.
The weatherman,
right? Yeah.
and the year before he went the furthest.
Okay.
And
wow.
I want to say I ran like 2 people after him.
Yeah.
Which was like
a little nerve-wracking. It's like a legend. And
oh, yeah. Well, one, I was like, sorry, crowd, for like, it was crazy seeing him like hype up the crowd. Like he was so good at like building the energy. Like, and I'm just like,
what he's doing, yeah.
It's about to get real silent after him. I'm sorry, guys, but sorry to let you down. So, I mean, it was cool to see him run.
That's cool, yeah.
But, and then a lot of the like Colorado, like Ian Dory is one of the Wolfpack, like Denver guys. And I actually ran into him at the hotel like earlier in that day.
Nice.
And we talked, and like he could tell I was like real nervous. So I saw him like shortly before I ran because he was kind of up there warming up too. He was running right around when I did. And like that was super cool. Like him to, like I was walking by, I think he could tell I was nervous. And he was like, just be cool, man. He's like, take a deep breath, like just have fun with it. Like that helped me a lot. Like that was awesome. Cool getting that from him. And but yeah, running the course, I mean, staying up till 3:15 to run the course, like people were like, how'd you stay awake? Like mentally, it was pretty easy to stay awake. Like there's a lot going on, but like right around like 1, like my legs were getting tight and like, so it's just a matter of like,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Staying energized, eat some food, stay loose.
Yeah. Makes sense. Cool. So what's something you often recommend to people? Are there any like books, podcasts, movies, music, anything you recommend to people a lot?
For Ninja specifically?
Anything. We'll open it up to anything.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about it on the radio because I talk about Ninja a lot on the radio, especially around Ninja time. But like there's a podcast like we mentioned, the Armchair Ninja podcast.
Sure.
And that's just because when I remember watching Ninja Warrior and then the season ended and I was like, oh man, like what do I do now?
Right.
Like I want more Ninja stuff. And I found out about that podcast where like they like in the season, they just kind of like go through each episode. Like this was the runs and this. And then the off season is obviously longer than the show, which is a couple months. So they have a big off season, but they just started covering Titan games.
Right.
They watch that show and they do some other special stuff throughout the year. But
That's cool.
I listen to the Ninja podcast because it's good to stay in the loop with Ninja stuff all year round.
For sure.
And there's a few other Ninja podcasts. The Wolfpack, like we mentioned, has their own podcast, and yeah, I don't know. There's a few different Ninja stuff you can get into. I really love like true crime stuff.
Okay,
so I listen to the Up and Vanish podcast.
I have not listened to that yet.
Which season 2 like just ended a few weeks ago, and I'm
so highly recommend that one.
It's a good one. And then the same guy kind of does. But he has some other people working on it with him. So if you know about Up and Vanish, you might know about the other ones. He did one called Monster about the Atlanta monster, or with the Atlanta child killings and everything. And it was called Atlanta Monster is the first season. And they just kicked off the second season, which is about the Zodiac killer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I don't know. My wife and I watch a bunch of like true crime shows. So
I've been recommended some of these different podcasts, the true crime ones, and I hear they're really good, but I'm going to have to give those a try.
Yeah, that's what I listen to. Also listen to, there's a podcast called The Bad Christian Podcast.
Okay.
Which if you were like a Christian kid who liked to listen to metal music like I was growing up, it's the guys from the band Emery.
Okay.
And they have a podcast where, I don't know, they talk about a ton of different cultural life stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, so, I'll definitely recommend that one as well. What's your definition of success?
I think if you are, if you have an obvious like set goal, like if you're setting goals and then you achieve that goal, that's a success. But I don't think you want to stop and be satisfied at that. Like you should find your next goal and strive to that. So being successful is, I think, just as long as you're striving towards your goals, and then don't settle for if you accomplish one, like what's your next one?
Perfect. That's awesome. Do you have a life motto you live by, or what's the best advice you've ever received?
There's my dad's a pastor, so I grew up.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So, I'm kind of religious. I try not to be, that can go a lot of ways, but like, I don't know. I've always grown up like learning about Jesus and that kind of stuff. And one of my mottos is, I kind of learned at a young age with all my heart stuff, like, I don't know, you can be taken care of, like,
yeah,
God's looking out for you. That's
absolutely
stuff I've learned. But one of my favorite things is there's a Bible verse, Matthew, 26. I'm going to look it up. But it's therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has enough worries about its own or something like that. And just growing up and dealing with all like my heart stuff, it's like, that's very easy to be like, oh no, I'm going through this, or I have this coming up, and just don't let that stuff affect you. Like, don't worry about stuff that is ahead. Like, yeah, it's going to be okay. You just got to persevere through it, and don't let like the future worries like tear you down, because that's just like living in fear or cowering from something that hasn't happened yet.
Right. That's awesome. Where is he a pastor at? Is he active pastor, or was he?
So I was born in Wichita. I lived here about 4 years, and then my family moved to Winfield. Oh, okay. So that's where I grew up, and he pastors a church there.
Nice. Okay. So
it's called Crossroads. Yeah, there's a Bible verse that I like a lot. Matthew 6:34. It's, therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own.
I love it. That's really cool.
And it's just kind of, I don't know, why spend time worrying about something that's ahead when you should be focusing on what's in front of you, like directly, and not, I don't know, just don't stress about the stuff down the road.
Right. I think it means even more from somebody like you who's gone through 4 heart surgeries. Like, not a lot of people have gone through 1, let alone 4. So that's really cool. Do you have a habit you've developed over the past few years that's most improved your life?
Getting back into fitness.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, definitely just the habit of working out and staying fit, and which Ninja kind of gave me, because it gave me a reason to stay active and stay fit. And so fitness.
Cool.
Also, I used to eat terrible, until my wife, like, bless her, because I literally went. When I grew up, I just never ate vegetables. Yeah. Like, I was one of those kids, super picky. Mm-hmm. First time I had a salad, I was 19 years old. And when I started dating my now wife, Claire, she like pretty much only eats like vegetables. So she, I don't know, she cooks very healthy. She cooks very healthy, and it's helped me a lot.
That's awesome. What is your favorite part of Wichita? Or is there like a hidden gem, maybe a hidden restaurant or something? Or just what's your favorite part of Wichita?
Recently, I like all the breweries that have popped up, because, being in St. Louis, I like a good beer. Yeah. My wife and I drink a lot of wine or really good craft beer. And being in St. Louis, like, it's a beer city, so there's a lot of cool options. So coming back, that's nice. Do
you have a favorite couple breweries here?
I really like War Beer's the beer. Walnut River, which is out of El Dorado, but they just opened their poorhouse. Sure. Because they have one beer, the Irish Red, or War Beer.
War Beer. I have some of that in my fridge right now.
So good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I really love the Wichita Brewing Company Vanilla Porter. What is that? What's it? Is it just Vanilla Porter?
I think it's just Vanilla Porter.
Yeah, Wichita Brewing Vanilla Porter.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. We moved down to Texas for 9 months down in 2016 for my job. And then we came back, and it seemed like the breweries just exploded in town. And there was like 10 of them all of a sudden. So that's pretty cool. Also, the Leslie Coffee Shop that just opened up. Oh, I'm in there. It's in Delano, and they just opened like within the last couple weeks. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Is there anything you wish Wichita had that it doesn't? Which I guess I know what you're going to say before I finish.
Work in progress.
Yeah, that's awesome. So just kind of a couple more questions. What does Wichita mean to you?
Wichita, I mean, I think a lot of people who've grown up here and never, I think I heard this I listened to the last podcast you put out. And I think this guy he said it really well. I forget his name.
Rolf Potts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know he touched on people being in Wichita kind of want to get out, or maybe it was something you said.
Yeah.
People, and then when you mentioned you guys moved away a little bit,
yeah.
You're like, oh, we missed it a lot. But
for sure.
I think it's very easy being here and being like, oh, I want to get away, and then overlook the cool stuff that is here.
Yeah.
But I think there are a lot of people here who don't have that attitude and mentality. There are a lot of people striving to make Wichita take it to the next level, make it a place where people can say, I'm from Wichita and I'm proud to be from Wichita.
Absolutely.
So if that kind of answers it.
Yeah, that does, yeah.
I had this one realization one time because I used to have that attitude a lot, and this was at the time when I lived in St. Louis. I was visiting Des Moines because I started doing the radio station in Des Moines while I was in St. Louis. And I went up to Des Moines, and Des Moines was never a city I thought about. I kind of thought it was similar to Wichita.
Yeah.
And I went there, and there was this coffee shop kind of close to the radio station. I was doing some work there, and I just walked down to the coffee shop, and I got my normal coffee. It was really cool, like really like hip, like all modern and cool coffee shop. And I sat down at the bar, which was like right off the barista bar. And the two owners started talking to me. There are two guys from California, Los Angeles, who moved to Des Moines and just started this coffee shop. And I remember I was like, it's so funny. Like you hear about the kids from Kansas or the kids from Iowa who move out to LA to try to make it. And here's two guys from Los Angeles who moved to the Midwest to make it. And it kind of like in that moment when I was sitting there and talking to these guys who were some of the coolest guys I've ever met, it hit me. It's like you can't judge a place because it's a place.
Right.
Because there's people making it more than that.
Yep.
And like those people are in Wichita too. Like there's like Adam Hartkey's been doing everything with all the venues and Wave and like been kicking off all that stuff and all the cool bands and like the new coffee shops and breweries and all that stuff that's opening up. It's those people. It's not the place that's holding everything down. Like you have these people that are bringing everything up.
That's awesome. Cool. So I really appreciate you coming on. Do you have any final comments or calls of action to Wichita or the community?
Just remember that don't sit to anyone who like sits back and might say like Wichita, like there's nothing going on in Wichita. Like you're the people who are kind of like, you need to get out and figure out all the stuff that is going on in Wichita. Cause when I moved back, I was really excited because it seemed like there was this big kind of creative shift and catalyst that was starting. So I was excited to come back and try to help be a part of this with the station and knowing like my position in the station, like helping the bands, like that was one of my goals. Yeah, was to really be a part of that movement. And I mean, it's easy to sit back on your couch and complain, or you can like get up and try to help be a part of it.
Awesome. Where can people find you on social media? What social media are you most active on?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter are my big ones. And I'm on Facebook too. Everything's just / or at DJ Tightpants.
Perfect.
Like I said,
that wasn't taken?
No, I mean, like I said, 9 years ago, man, DJ Tightpants, I was the one. Although Tight Pants is not available, I had to go with DJ Tightpants.
That's all right. That works.
Which a lot of people, it's like a lot of people will just call me like DJ Tightpants now, and I'm like, I never ever say DJ Tightpants on the radio.
Really? Okay.
Just Tightpants.
That's really funny.
But I think it's because all my social media.
Right.
And of course, I'm on the radio all the time, so you can listen in Alt 107.3 from 3 till 7 weekday afternoons, and then the Native Noise Show Sunday nights at 10, and then Channel 963 weeknights 7 to midnight. And then I'm pretty active on the social medias too. It's at Alt 107.3 Wichita and at Channel 963.
For sure. Yeah, I'll link that up and link up a lot of the stuff that we talked about, but I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's awesome.
It was fun. Thanks.
Thank you to everyone who stuck it out and listened to this episode of the Wichita Live podcast. Thanks to the local Wichita band, The Caves, for use of their song. You can find links to everything we discussed in the show notes at wichitalifeict.com. If you have any comments or recommendations for our podcast, feel free to contact us at wichitalifeict@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, hasta luego.